We're glad you're watching this video. Give it a like and subscribe to our channel.
Yep. Also, check out the podcast below in the description.
We're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
It happens to be the #1 vodka in America. I wonder, and I'm not trying to play Monday morning quarterback, but I think this sometimes when I watch the guy make some plays, is that there is a chance that Sam Darnold was this incredible distressed asset. He was the 3rd overall pick. He was a very young player. Remember when he came in the league? I think him and Juju were the same year, and he was like 20, and Juju was 19, and Juju immediately was the youngest player in the league, and everyone's like, don't forget, Sam's also one of the youngest players in the league. Like, these guys were babies coming in the league. The difference, though, is like Juju clearly has some maturity issues. I think they caught him on camera saying it was Ben's fault today as they were getting smoked. And I'm not saying that's immature. I mean, that's probably a fact. But I do think that Sam was like this guy that there was some risk involved. He threw a bunch of picks, but it was easy to go, God, the Jets were a train wreck. Their coach was so toxic, no one would touch him. These articles were coming out. Like, he wasn't just, coaches can be weird. This guy was like a bizarro weirdo. And what if Sam Darnold actually is just this young guy that you can still mold and go to the 49ers? Like, could they have gotten him for just a 2nd-round pick?
Well, they could have.
And just gotten rid of Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback situation feels like it'd be better right now today if Sam Darnold was their quarterback. Now, Trey Lance might turn out to be worth the investment. But like right now, this second today, Sam Darnold's better than what the Trey Lance we saw on the field against the Seahawks, and he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, Sam Darnold was dramatically better than Trey Lance at 21 years old. Sam Darnold was a better quarterback.
He went to USC. So he's better than him at several steps of the way.
Yeah.
Now, he may not be a better – well, again, I'm not saying that that's destiny.
And
but you're right.
49ers aren't the only teams that just fall. Like, several teams, he was clearly – people were like off the scent on him, and I was just I think Carolina might go back like, God, we just got our franchise quarterback. Now, when I say franchise, is he ever a top 8 quarterback? Maybe not, but I do think he can get in that sweet spot like 9 to 15. Now, that's not the ideal spot to be in. That's the polarizing group that we talk about. But he might be the best version of that polarizing group, and you'd be all right.
He's good enough athletically that you can do things with him that you can't add any layer to another quarterback who's in that 13 to 20 range if they're not athletic enough to do other things. He rushed for, I think, 2 touchdowns today. Let me check the stats. At least one. Yeah, he
accounted for 4 touchdowns. He rushed for 2. He threw for 2. He threw 2 picks.
But like, to me, his offensive coordinator, like, part of this is if he ended up somewhere else, if he ended up in Houston, right? If he ended up in Indy, I don't know. But there are other places he might have.
Today, I saw.
I know he had 1 completion and 2 picks at one point.
It was raining.
But maybe this is Joe Brady's, audition tape for his head coaching job. Because when I watched them on offense today, on the parts of that game that I watched, I thought they looked like, they were just doing different things. And Sam's athleticism is a big part of that. So, yeah, John, we talked about it the other day. And this is the capital I, capital if on Trey Lance. This wasn't supposed to be a Trey Lance conversation, but since it went there, I think it's a good point. If it does not work out with him, it will be the story of Kyle Shanahan will be that there were several quarterbacks out there to be had, some that weren't to be had, but several to be had, and he didn't get them, chose not to, didn't scout them, didn't get them, couldn't have got them, like Stafford or Rodgers, whatever it is. That'll be part of the overarching. And when I went through the list of things the other day, I did not include Sam Darnold, of course, but yeah, maybe he turns into a guy that people regret not getting.
My buddy that gave me the DJ Moore Debo comp, maybe I hadn't watched enough DJ Moore, but the more I watch him, I do see they're kind of smaller guys, but they're thick. DJ might be I guess Debo plays pretty fast too. That guy's good.
Yeah, and he is pretty thick.
He's thick. He hauls ass.
What's with the numbers on the Panthers shoulder pads that are like an inch tall? Why do they have like mini numbers on their jerseys?
It's kind of weird. I'm not in love with their jerseys. Cowboys. Dak 4 touchdowns. Zeke had a touchdown.
I mean,
that's another thing. That's
14 to 22.
Now Dak,
14 completions, 4 of them were touchdowns.
Is dramatically better than what the Niners were running at quarterback. But like Joe Brady and Kellen Moore, and this is where I think Kyle's getting heat. Like when you're a top offensive guy in 2021, it's never been easier to do shit now. Like you should score 25 points. If you don't, we think of you as a bad coach. It's really that simple. Like you should score points. Like even today, the Chiefs game against Sirianni, like
scored 30.
their offense felt like it could do some stuff, didn't it?
Well, who was calling that game? Whoever it was made the point early in the
Burkhardt,
game.
maybe? No.
Whoever the analyst was, it was Ian, it was Eagle. So maybe
Charles
Davis.
It was Charles Davis. It was Charles Davis, yeah.
And he made the point pretty early in the game, like, what it appears to me is happening is they are doing things that make Jalen Hurts comfortable. They are taking him back to his Oklahoma offense, and they're just trying to move and move and move and move. We'll have picks coming up this week, and we'll make them at mybookie.ag. Promo code HAM and the number 1.
Also, check out these great slippers. Overland.com/ham for free shipping.